Hey everybody, welcome back to Freeze Frame. This is your weekly roundup giving you all the latest on movie and TV news. My name is Ryder and I'm joined here with my co-host and my fantastic friend Luigi. How you doing,
Lots
buddy?
of news this week. Lots of news.
Hope you're doing
It's
well.
gonna be hefty. I'm doing great.
Nice.
Joined by my co-host, myself, Water and Sprite.
Oh, love to
They're
hear
gonna
it.
get me through this whole news roundup. It's gonna be insane.
Nice. Well, we had a huge news week for sure. But before we get started, let's go ahead and do a little bit of housekeeping for those of you listening on all the audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We appreciate you guys listening. We love our listeners. We're on YouTube. You can check us out on the weekends. We post our podcast all the weekends on YouTube, as well as you can check us out on social media and TikTok and everywhere. You can find us on social media. We're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Yeah. It's
everywhere.
always funny thinking about that, but yeah, we've been trying to get everywhere.
It's like anybody who starts a brand has to just like invest in so many different areas of industry that you're just like a little exhausted at some point.
Yeah.
But I understand it, and I personally love it. I love when you see success, and that's pretty much what we're talking about today, with lots of big successes from a lot of franchises we personally love and have known for a couple of years. There's going to be a lot of throwbacks during this episode and a lot of really interesting things coming up. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. What have you been watching before the news? What have you been watching, Ryder? Have you been watching anything good?
Well, this past week, I've been watching a little bit of Netflix. I've gotten into The Crown, actually. I just now got into it.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any of it.
It's been good to hear about the history of the royal
Really?
family. You know, they go through like all the way back to the 30s, 40s, and now we're like kind of in the 80s. So that's interesting. I've been watching a little bit of Fargo. I've been slowly getting through that one.
Ooh.
That one's on Hulu. It's an FX show, but getting through the first season of that. And then, of course, WandaVision. We've been watching that. So it's been a lot of fun. What about you?
And we will talk about that later on in this episode. Personally, myself, I started watching, well, I actually finished watching Last Man on Earth with Will Forte.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
There was 4 seasons, and the 4th season ends on a cliffhanger, which sucks, because then it got canceled.
Okay.
But the show itself was, like, the first season of the show is really strong, and then it just kind of, like, tiptoes out. But I would still say it's worthy of a watch. And then I've been watching Whose Line Is It Anyways on HBO Max.
Oh, cool.
Because I just started binging improv, which has just been a whole lot of fun, honestly. But yeah, without further ado, now we're gonna get started. Now we're gonna finally give you guys what you've been waiting for. You guys are like, I don't care what you've been watching, dude. I want to know what's up.
God.
I get it, dude. I get it. You've been sitting there waiting 4 or 5 minutes now. Anyways, Paramount Plus is coming. And you've already known this, but now it's coming sooner. Like now it's like 2 weeks away, I think, less than that even. You know, so we're going to give you guys a quick lineup of what's going on with Paramount Plus, because Paramount Plus is huge, right? It's going to feature a content catalog of more than 30,000 episodes of content, 2,500 movies, and 1,000 plus live sporting events and news coverage. That sounds absolutely insane. Like, what? They already had a back catalog that was just like, we're ready for this. More than 50 new series are coming across multiple genres during the next 2 years, which is great. At least there's a lot of promise for new stuff. They say that they're going to have 7,000 episodes of kids content, 5,000 of reality, and 6,000 of comedy. Wow. Picture that in just the future of, like, you sit somewhere wherever you're at and just picture the future of TV and movie. Like, the film industry is just blowing up. And people who say you can't be an actor, you can't be a writer, you can't be a producer or director are full of shit. They're trying to get in your head. They don't want to let you get their spot. That's the truth.
There's a lot of jobs.
You're all competing for a lot of jobs, and there's a lot of jobs out there. So feel free to jump into that.
I have some pricing news real quick. This is just for you guys to know. So it says it's launching at $5 a month with ads, and they said for no ads, it's gonna cost $10 a month. So of course, I know you still have some more that you want to bring up. If they keep increasing more, adding more content, I'm sure the price will increase. Maybe add extra cost, but $5 a month right now with ads. That sounds not too bad. That's good. You know?
Ads. It depends on how many ads.
Yeah,
you know?
True.
Is it 1 to 2 or 3 to 5?
Yeah,
you know,
it depends.
Because sometimes I don't have Hulu with ads, but sometimes my brother does, and You're probably wondering, why haven't you put your brother on your own account? Trust me, I've thrown it out there. He likes ads. You know, we work in commercial production, so he's like, bro, we literally work in ads. Like, you should watch it. I'm like, I'm good, bro. Like, I'm good. But anyways, there's a lot of really cool content coming, right? And I just want to touch on it a little bit. Obviously, we have Mission Impossible 7, A Quiet Place, and actually Paw Patrol the movie, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Oh my god!
Are actually, and I think this is just a regular thing now. But after 45 days of being in the theater, they're gonna come to Paramount Plus. So that's kind of cool. It's like a month and a half almost, and then it's like, oh, cool, it's on the service. Doing the opposite of what HBO Max is doing, where it's like, hey, here it is for 30 days, and then it's gone. Like you just can't see it anymore for probably 6 months or something. I don't know. Some of the exciting shows that they're gonna be working on, actually, Halo from Xbox.
That's the big one, yeah. That's
what?
The big one.
Like that's huge. Yeah. Like in my opinion, that's probably, it was actually at Showtime, and then they moved it over to Paramount Plus, which is so exciting. CBS All Access, by the way, all the shows that are there, all the programming is actually going to move on over to Paramount Plus, which is cool. Kind of an HBO situation from the past, doing the same thing. Some of the other shows are going to have, as far as reality TV, RuPaul's Drag Race. People love that. The Challenge, Big Brother. Some of the big reality shows are going to be there, but also we're going to be getting a Workaholics movie. What? Workaholics? You thought that show ended?
It's
coming back. We also have an untitled Beavis and Butthead movie, and it's going to actually lead into a show that they're developing, and then they are bringing Criminal Minds back. Now, that is just some of the surface level stuff. That was a tease, right? Because this is where it gets crazy. This is where it gets absolutely insane. Avatar: The Last Airbender has now been given its own studio, so basically the creators of the show, Mike DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, are now in partnership with Nickelodeon Animation Studios and are basically just going to be creating a wide range of content for Paramount Plus, anywhere from spin-offs to theatrical movies and just animated shorts, all sorts of crazy stuff. Like they already announced it. They're making a movie first that's just going to lead them into the expansion of the world that is going to spin out into the next Avatar series, whatever that may be. But that is just, to me, like the biggest news. Like in my head, I'm just like, you gave one of my childhood franchises a whole studio to literally go and create as much as they want.
Spin-offs.
And it's like, it's like a dream come true, low key, because like, bro, I watched Legend of Korra when they went from having it on TV, and then it went Nickelodeon only. It was like, I was a kid, and they only streamed it on their website, and I was just like, and it was like, there was a huge cliffhanger for season 3. And then all of a sudden, like you're left in distraught. Like it was a very emotional. And then they go, in 2 weeks, season 4 starts, and you were just like, what? Like what? Like it was just like this freak out. Yeah. They were because they were just trying to like get the show out because they had already made it, and there was like not a lot of people who watched it on TV, but there was a lot of hardcore fans online. Yeah. So it's like, and you see that now, like when Avatar went to Netflix, like it became #1 streaming wise. Like I think the day it dropped. So it's like, it shows the power of it. So that there you go. Avatar Studios is going to be coming. That's huge. It's already here, but it's just exciting. Next up, we obviously know about the iCarly revival that's going to be there. It's actually at Paramount Plus.
Little footage of that lately. We've seen little ads and stuff. They're slowly hyping it up.
I haven't ran into anything, but I'm excited to see when I do, which is cool. We're also getting a Camp Coral, like we had discussed before, a couple episodes of that. They're actually making a new Rugrats. Can you believe that? With all the original cast. And it's going to be CGI. CGI looked weird, really?
Yeah, it did look a little weird because it was more three-dimensional.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, I wonder what they look like.
No, yeah, it was a little weird. It's messy, but.
And on top of that weirdness that we just discussed, we're getting a live Very Odd Parents live adaptation.
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
I'm just like, what? The show spans for 10 seasons, 172 episodes, and they're saying that they're going to bring it back. 10-year-old boy with 2 fairy godparents named Cosmo and Wanda, and a malevolent 16-year-old babysitter named Vicky. They're saying that's going to be the main gist of it. Yeah, going to play with that.
That's cool.
Should be interesting. I think if you let it go to the bizarreness and the extremity of Fairy Odd Parents, how it was when you watched it as a kid as the cartoon, it's going to be really exciting if they let themselves go there. If it's like they're putting a cap on the creativity or like how far you can take things, then I think the show's just going to be absolute garbage. But Paramount Plus, what are your thoughts so far? Are you buying? Are you subscribing? That's
another
my
one
thing.
to add on. You know, I don't.
Right.
I feel like if they keep announcing stuff like Mission Impossible and you know, Quiet Place, it's like, man, I might get it considering the theater situation here in California. You know, if they open back up, then of course I want to go see those movies in theaters. But if it's like, sorry, you can't see it. You know, you can't see Godzilla vs Kong in IMAX. So it's like, well, I gotta see HBO Max. I gotta see Paramount Plus. I have to. You know, so that's my opinion on that. But heavy hitters for sure.
I'd love to get it to the point where like Strictly Casual just has accounts for all of these different streaming services. Yeah. And it's just like we just have profiles in those accounts. That'd be sick. Like, hey,
that'd be pretty cool.
Company just pays for the streaming. We just review
on
stuff,
everything.
You know?
I got you.
Seriously, which is cool. I also forgot to mention this. They have they're gonna bring back a show called Behind the Music, which is a documentary series going in depth about, you know, the way music was done, like the interviewing the artists, and just really cool visual designs that I guess was very popular back in the day. I'm excited to see some of the stuff they decide to throw back to, because Disney like went deep into their back catalog and was like, we're going to invest in all the stuff we have. So I'm not surprised Paramount Plus is going to do the same.
Absolutely.
And just excited to see where they take it, honestly. Do you have anything else to add about Paramount? Personally, I'm being honest, I might get it just because of the Halo series, but then I'm also like, maybe somebody else will have a password.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna wait to see when's a big release, and then I might. But right now, no. HBO Max is my Disney Plus and HBO Max is where I'm at mainly.
I got you.
But speaking of heavy hitters and important news, we finally have a brand new title reveal for Spider-Man 3. This was revealed to us this past week with a awesome little video. We first got some like kind of a troll from the three main cast members: Tom Holland, the actor who plays Ned Leeds, Jacob Batalon, and Zendaya. And they all posted kind of a little photo, and they were like, "Here's the title, guys: Spider-Man, a Homewrecker," and then it was a Spider-Man
Home Slice.
Home Slice, yeah. And then it was another one. Oh yeah, Craven's Revenge or something like that. Or Craven's Home, like Raven's Home, yeah. And so they posted those little trolls, and then I think later the next day, it was the morning, they released a little clip from the director and the full, and they announced it. It's Spider-Man 3, No Way Home, and it also said coming to theaters Christmas. So that's kind of a heavy promise, you know. Coming, I think it's only coming to theaters this Christmas. It did, so, right? So. And then they also released 3 new photos showing us kind of a little look at the film of the cast members in the movie. And people were speculating maybe they're in the Sanctum Sanctorum or who knows where they're at. But what do you think of the title No Way Home? What do you think that could mean?
No Way Home. I think I told you this earlier, but I was thinking about the fact that it's like all of these people are going to be brought from their universes into, you know, our universe, Tom Holland's, and they're not going to have a way back. You know, like how we were saying Alfred Molina's Doc Ock is going to stick around, right? Then I think he doesn't have a way back, so he's like, I guess I'm involved in this world. Yeah, I'm going to join the Sinister Six, and then we're just going to, maybe I join Doctor Doom's little Legion of Doom, you know, or Legion of Evil, whatever. I think this title and those little teaser shots that we got made me feel like they were like in some form of like escape room, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they were just like looking for clues on like how they could solve some form of mystery, you know? It was really interesting. I'm excited for that. I just keep getting more hyped for this movie. If you want to know another Spider-Man 3 little tease bit, someone's saying that Ned. Spoiler alert. I hate to say it. If this is true, speculation alert. If anything, they're saying Ned might die at the end of this movie, and they're setting it up so that he becomes Hobgoblin by his death or something. And like he plays like the Harry Osborn of this franchise, like this version. He's kind of like the Harry Osborn. He's like the best friend, you know. And so people are saying that, you know, how we had James Franco become like a version of Green Goblin, like maybe that's gonna happen with Ned, but for him to become that, he's gonna have to die. And maybe that has something to do with our big bad in WandaVision that is gonna play a part in that. Who knows? We entered the realm of speculation here. But I think Spider-Man 3 is going to set up a lot of stuff. Like, I think that by the end of that movie, we're going to get a lot of clearer picture of, like, oh, these next 4 movies, we know what those are going to be about.
Different
like,
storylines, That's what I love about Marvel,
exactly.
You know? They have, like, little stuff, like this whole Civil War storyline. The Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. was, like, what? Age of Ultron, Winter Soldier. Well, Winter Soldier first, and then Age of Ultron, and then kind of, like, the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So they have all these little subplots within the whole overarching Marvel universe where it's, like, this multiverse storyline. I don't think it's like the overarching main one, but there is like 3 or 4 movies that are gonna have it. And that's what I love. You know, it ends it and then cool, let's start another one. You know, so that's
right. Well, yeah, remember we were talking about it a little bit, how they want to combine like their comics, their the TV, the movies.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They want to bring it all
One,
together
story.
to be one massive story. And Kevin Feige at the helm, I think, is very much able to do that, which is exciting. But I want to flip on over to their counterpart, DC, which is doing something a little bit different than Marvel, which is really kind of exciting. They're actually expanding their audio drama deal. So like if you've heard about, Spotify originals, they're kind of going more in depth on making more shows about the DC characters. So they're saying that they've already announced I believe that Batman show. Remember when we reported on it? I think that's what that's going to be, like a narrative.
The Gordon one.
So they're saying they're going to do one like a Catwoman, Wonder Woman, the Riddler, the Batgirl, Joker, Superman, Lois Lane. They're all going to get their own individual podcasts to kind of go through a narrative where there may be the focus of the story, which is very cool in my opinion. I think that's very exciting and very different for like DC. Like you have Marvel really expanding and like taking over the internet for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
WandaVision, and DC's just really trying to do something about it. And I think Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be that big push that is like, hey, DC's back. And they're gonna, and I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if that movie does well. A month later, there's a couple things that are just announced that are huge. That is like, hey, we're investing heavily in this IP, which is great. But I also, switching gears again, want to talk about a couple shows that have just been canceled. Last Man Standing with Tim Allen is done. Season 9, it's done. Drunk History, a show we all loved and like to watch, canceled after season 6 is gone. Tosh.0, what? Daniel Tosh, crazy.
Love this show.
Season 12, last one. 13 Reasons Why. Thank God.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Needed to end. They got too ridiculous with that one.
That show was just really dumb after a point. Like you're like, what are y'all doing? Vikings, and then The Order.
Okay.
Gone.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. They're all gone. Forget about them.
Forget about it. You watch the reruns. Anyways, I do want to go back to DC real quick because we recently had the CW Superman show that released, and the pilot, people were raving about it. I saw on YouTube and social media. The reviews were saying it was great. They said they got the character down really well. And there were some awesome Superman moments. We also have some more in Superman news. There's a reboot reportedly in the works from Marvel Comics writer Ta-Nehisi Coates. Now, apparently, this is going to be a black Superman. Like, that is what they want to do. He's writing the script, and then J.J. Abrams is going to produce. And so people have been speculating that maybe Michael B. Jordan might be the cast because they wanted Michael B. Jordan for a role in DC a couple years back. But for those who don't know, there's been many black Supermen in the DC comics, notably John Henry, Iron Steel, Val-Zod, and Kal-El. So his civilian name is Calvin Ellis, known to the people of Earth 23 as the President of the United States. So, with multiverse and comics, you can pull whichever version you want. So who knows who this is going to be, but we'll let you guys know when they start working on a script and casting. They haven't casted yet, but... interesting.
That's awesome. No, definitely. I'm excited to see where Superman goes. I did see a little tease for that episode, for that pilot, where he's like, the little boy is like, "Hey, I love your costume," and he's like, "Thanks, my mom."
Yeah.
And it's like the internet went crazy for it.
That was pulled
They
straight.
went crazy. No, I saw, but it's just crazy how much the internet was like, "Wow, this is genuinely what we want in a Superman," which is cool that they're nailing that. Since we're still on the topic of DC, I might as well I got something else for y'all. The Snyder Cut, like I was just saying a little bit ago, is actually airing at 2 a.m. Eastern time, which makes it 11 p.m. Pacific time. So it's actually going to air on March 17th for us Los Angeles folk if we decide to stay up and watch a 4-hour movie.
I know, because it would end at 3. It would end at 3.
It would end at, around 3 a.m. And then we would be busting out a review around 6.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, that's got to be like an afternoon sitting. We all have to watch
the next
it.
day,
And then post it the next day. Like there's that'd be insane. But yeah, so if you guys want to stay up though, I might stay up and just watch like an hour of it.
I might. For sure.
I might honestly just watch the whole thing. Like I'm not even tripping about it. So we'll see. But that's that. And next up I have you have something else.
I have some DC. It was just a quick note of DC note.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. DC. Keep it going.
The Blue Beetle film. Blue Beetle is an iconic character in the DC comic. They're making a film and they're shooting this fall, and it's going to be, of course, DC's first Latino superhero. But no other news on that. Just wanted to talk about that. That's happening.
That's cool. Yeah. I didn't even know that was happening. I love Blue Beetle. Like he was, he's like one of Batman's pretty much like close sidekick friends in like the universe of DC. So it's very exciting that they're bringing him into the big screen, and with the Latino, like.
Yep, they have a Latino director, Angel Manuel Soto, directing it. That's pretty cool.
Okay,
so you guys can look him up.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I have over here Aladdin star Mena Massoud is reportedly being eyed to play live-action Ezra Bridger in AHSOKA, the prequel to Rebels. So we talked about Admiral Thrawn, and now we're talking about Ezra Bridger. So I think this AHSOKA series is about to be very, very exciting and lots of fun to watch. I think it might become something where people are like, oh, damn, that's like a good show.
That's going to be super hyped, I think, because there's a lot of lore. There's a lot of, you have the Rebels cartoon. There's a lot of stuff to pull from that, and I think the Ahsoka series is going to really dabble into more of the Star Wars lore that's not really well known, like majority, I'd say, but more like deep cut stuff. So I'm looking forward to that one for sure.
Absolutely. I can just keep going if you want me to.
Yeah,
I have a new book. This is different. I got a book here called True Believer: The Rise and Fall of Stan Lee by Abraham Reisman. So this book apparently is establishing a consistent pattern of wildly inconsistent explanations in Stan Lee's story about how he came up with a bunch of the characters that we now know and love. Okay. So Stan Lee was very notorious for taking credit for things that maybe he didn't fully give. You know, there was 5 people who worked on it, but people are like, it was Stan Lee because he's the guy at Marvel. And it's just like,
I feel that.
His name was above everything. And, it's just interesting because I was reading this article and they had a bunch, like 74 characters that were like almost household names. Like you hear it and you know what it is. And Stan Lee had played a part in those, but very famously Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko actually did as well. They were more like, I looked at the list and they were the 3 names mentioned the most, and these 2 men actually helped like so many of these. Like I was just so surprised how one person has a strong influence on something like that. But I just wanted to mention some of the characters they made: Cyclops, Black Widow, Mysterio, Mephisto, Doc Ock, Jean Grey, Pepper Potts, Electro, Nick Fury, Harry Osborn, Scarlet Witch, Juggernaut, Doctor Strange, Fantastic Four, the Avengers. Some form of collaboration happened between these 3 men to make some of just these iconic characters that I just mentioned, that you hear it and you know who those characters are. That is something very rare. But this book, True Believer: The Rise and Fall of Stan Lee, is going to cover those stories, go in depth on the background, talking to the other creators about Stan Lee and just the whole story. I think it's a very exciting book, and I just wanted to touch on it for anybody out there who's a Marvel fan.
Absolutely, that sounds super interesting. I might have to check that out and dabble into that to get more lore. Like I'm thinking book history.
Damn, that's cool. Yeah, absolutely. And then hear it from the people who created it. Like that's so cool.
Yeah. Okay, up next, I got this pretty cool one, and this is probably one of my most exciting ones too. So we have the Red Notice director Rawson Marshall Thurber. Butcher name. Sorry, he's replacing David Leitch to helm The Division, which is a Netflix film adaptation starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Jessica Chastain. So this film, The Division, is based on the awesome video game, The Division 1.
I was about to say, is it about the video game? Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, that world and that atmosphere is so sick because there's kind of like a virus, and who knows with how you can deal with the big city and the kind of like post-apocalyptic world. But Jake Gyllenhaal attached to it, I'm in,
Right.
And it's Netflix too.
For real.
It's Netflix, so
that sounds awesome. That sounds really awesome.
With the director replacing, I'm sure maybe there's just creative differences, but either way, I think they'll be on a good track. Hopefully.
No, dude, for sure. And I don't have anything else to say on that. But next up, I got Justin Roiland, the co-creator of Rick and Morty, joining the Invincible cast. We talked about Invincible last week, and this week, Justin Roiland. He does the Morty voice. He does the Rick voice. He does a bunch of characters. I think that's going to be a great addition to that team. I wonder if he's just going to play like a side character for all the rest of the people, or I'm interested. I'm very interested to see that.
His voice is so like recognizable that it's like I wonder if he's going to just do it or if he's going to try and switch it up for somebody. Because you could always tell with voice actors, you're like, I know who that is in like a DC show.
That's true. That's true. You hear it and you're like, hey, that voice, that sounds like a celebrity I know.
Yeah. Especially with this Invincible show. Like, I don't know if you've been hearing, like, it's crazy. I think it's being hyped up even more and more. Like, we got to check this out, maybe do a review on it, because it's like there's like a whole fan base, huge fan base surrounding this.
I watched the trailer. The trailer looks amazing. Like, I legitimately was like, damn, this show is actually probably worth watching. Like,
Absolutely.
sounds sick. So...
Okay, let's see. We have right here a District 10 screenplay is currently being written.
What?
Says Neil Blomkamp. He said it's coming. For District 10, the sequel to District 9, the film many years ago about the alien
that
race.
Movie was a trip.
The slums, yeah, and it kind of ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. I'd say it was more of kind of like open ended to where, is there a sequel? And for years and years, I think there's been conversations about there's a sequel. No, it's not happening. Man. It's canceled.
I don't think that's
really?
right. Because like last time I remember I watched District 9, he becomes the alien.
Well, yeah, but the guy was saying, hey, I'm gonna go to my home and then I'm gonna come back for you and I'm gonna make you turn back to human, and he lost his wife. And so he left and he was like, okay. And he's like, 10 years. I need 10 years. I'll be back in 10 or something like that. And then so he was just there and it ended where he was an alien. And it was like, oh man, is he going to like that alien has to come back? Is he going to
come back
and bring like an army and help his people and then turn him back to human? So there's a little stuff in there that maybe
that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That first time I watched that movie, I was like super tripped out about it because I was like, this is actually like really well made. Like the weapons in that movie were like super futuristic, and it just every little detail of it. I mean, it won Academy Awards for it, but like every little detail about that movie is just really well thought out. That it just brought that world to life perfectly, which was really exciting. I have here a big story that I want to get your thoughts on. This is about Disney. We always talk about Disney, like, he's wearing a Disney Plus hat. Like, obviously we like Disney,
it's
like
dirty,
which is great. This article is talking about how Disney keeps 80% of streaming revenue by calling it home video. So they keep 80% of the streaming revenue that comes from them lending, their rights to other services and other stuff by calling it home video. So this is interesting, right?
Okay.
So for years, Disney has been keeping 80% from older shows that it distributes to streaming platforms, leaving only 20% to be available to stars and other profit participants. So every other member, like say the actors, the writers, the editors, the crew, like every single person, 20% is just for them. 80% goes back to Disney. So it does this by classifying the revenue as home video, right? Under a formula dating from the introduction of the VCR. And it says that Disney does this by basically taking it out of the in-house distributor, right? To cover the cost of distribution. So Bill Nye the Science Guy had a show with them in 1993 called Bill Nye the Science Guy, right? Everybody knows it. And he went to court to try to fight this because he was like, dude, I'm only getting 20% and like 20% split between several people, not just me. And it says that back when they first started his show, they had agreed to a 50-50 split. Him and Disney 50-50, right? Whoa. He would get 50, Disney would get 50. Okay. But that was under the creation of just the airing of it on TV and just having the property. But Disney's sneaky. So they went and they actually brought it down to where it was 90% of streaming and download revenue staying with Disney, and only 10% is available after everything is reduced for the creators of the show. So Bill Nye was like, dude, we don't make any money off of something we created in 1994, had several seasons of, and then basically it's almost like they just took ownership of everything you put your work into, right? Like he was quirky. He did 100 episodes of this show. It's crazy. So then the judge actually sided with Disney, which is insane. And the lawyer's trying to appeal it. But the lawyer brought up the point that it doesn't cost anything for Disney to distribute these shows. Like it's literally the press of a button and the shows just goes from being, here to being digital and then being able to be streamed. So it literally doesn't cost them anything. And yet they're still taking in and raking in all of these profits. And it's just crazy because usually when you lend out a property, right, there's a big licensing fee that the whatever studio you're lending it out to has to pay, like Netflix. Netflix was paying out the ass basically for just anything, right? They wanted everything. So, hey, what, $5 million for the rights? Okay, yeah, take it. 50 million? Okay, yeah, you take it. Okay. So Disney's already making huge amounts of money from those just deals. But then on top of that, the revenue that is going from the royalties probably is like, okay, most of this is also ours. So it's like they're just claiming all the money and then basically giving like the people who actually put the time and effort into creating it just the smallest little nugget. And it's just so crazy to see that because, I just want to throw that out there for the people who are listening because it's like, yes, Disney is great for making all this content and it's great that they entertain us. But at the same time, the people who run the actual company see it as a business and as a profit, like they don't care about anything else.
Monopoly.
Right, exactly. Profit hungry monopoly is the best way to put it. And it's a little ridiculous. Yeah. And I have a couple more stories here about Disney and I'm just like, that's insane.
Yeah.
You know, so I wanted to hear your thoughts on that because you're a big Disney head wearing the Disney Plus hat now.
Yeah. I mean, I understand because it's such a big platform that you put your show on there. And it's like, hey, you give us all the money because we're going to make your show skyrocket. But then on the other hand, it's like you put so much work in, at least like 50-50. My gosh, like, come on. Like,
right.
Give me half because I work on the show I create. It's my thing. I'm allowing you to make it because if it's successful, is it successful because it's on Disney's platform? Or is it because the creators and the hardworking writers and the actors that put their work into it? You know what I mean? WandaVision's great because of, the show. But I'm just using, that's a bad example. I mean, like, an original show, let's say, if it's a great show and has a great story and a great team behind it, they deserve, the revenue from it that they're owed, and
right.
Disney is huge. They're the, everybody knows. You put it on the platform, everyone's ever seen. But I think it's a little like, come on, Disney, to be saying 80-20, like it needs to be more fair. But I would like to hear more reasons behind that justification. You know what I mean? But that's how I feel.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point because it really is about having that fairness in business. And I feel like Disney's just like, yeah, but we're a bigger name. We have more money. We have better lawyers that we can just speak the lingo the way the judge wants to handle it. Because the judge literally was like, oh, I'm not going to let this go through because then Disney wouldn't get any money. And it's like, that's not the case. Disney's not going to not get any money, dude. Like, that's stupid to say as a judge. Like, no hate, but like, just come on. Like, that's a dumb way of thinking. But it's just like, on top of that, you take away the ability for the person to like fight it, and so now the lawyer is appealing with like the circuit court, and you can take it a step further. And who knows, what if this ended up in like the Supreme Court and it was just a
huge thing,
big deal. So we'll see.
Maybe
we'll keep you updated.
I also am not that well versed within the business of all these matters and meetings, so I'm sure there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff when it comes to contracts and deals that it's the public may not even know about. So of course, we say this with a grain of salt because we're not known, but at least we're reporting it. So I like that.
Right. Well, they're saying they were saying no. They were saying that basically it's like Disney was saying how this is like VCR and like a VHS, but in reality it's more like streaming. But streaming wasn't around at the time when these contracts were made. But pay to view video was like HBO. Yeah. And so they're saying that this type of content is more like it should be more organized in that way where it's like, hey, those shows that are put on streaming, kind of share the profit with everybody instead of just the company itself. And so that's what Bill Nye was kind of arguing in his lawyer. But it just didn't really go anywhere, which sucks. But at least they're making the headway of putting it out there as a battle. Like that to me is at least some form of impressive. But I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here, guys. Disney's awful. No, I'm just kidding. Give or take, guys, they make great content, but I think their business mindset sometimes takes over the creative and entertaining side of it, which kind of sucks. But look, I told you I still had news, so I got to talk about it. George Lucas is going to be working on Andor. 2 episodes he's writing. He's writing them himself.
Let's go. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's sick.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because of the fact that he hasn't done anything since Clone Wars, right? And they're saying that they might just give him a whole show. Like that, I think they said that they might just give him the next the trilogy, the next trilogy that Star Wars makes. But he is ballsy because he's asking for full creative control, which is like that's big, like dude, And he said that's the only way I do it, and I'm like, maybe not then. Maybe.
Well, I'd say it depends because if it's something that's within the story that was created,
he's the original
with Disney,
guy.
Yeah, right. If it's like a new original story, then it's like, yeah, sure, go ahead, make it. If they do Knights of the Old Republic, give them all the creative control. I don't mind. But if it's like Andor has, I think, set story within the Disney storyline that's separate from the Lucas storyline that I think, because like the trilogy, I think is different from the originals, even though it's the one story. That's different. I feel like, you know what I mean? It's different business or whatever.
Would you want him to do the next trilogy though? Like the next 3 films, would you want George Lucas to have creative control overall?
Yeah, I would say because if Rian Johnson is still,
so a trilogy, but not the next one.
Yeah, a trilogy.
Well, he might not be around, so
yeah.
Take it or leave it. That's the thing.
I know.
But I'm excited to see him write. I'm sure he'll write more episodes. It's a long show, and but 2 episodes is enough for me, in my opinion. It's kind of exciting.
Absolutely. Let's see what we have here. Shazam! Fury of the Gods has a new casting announcement. They're recruiting West Side Story, the star Rachel Zegler, in a mysterious key role. Wow. She went to her social media and she posted. She's like, "Yeah, she's gonna be playing something huge, like a main person." And it's a mystery at this point, but I mean,
that's cool.
Heavy hitter. Lucky for her, she's gonna be in that movie along with
I follow her on Twitter.
Zachary Levi.
Zachary Levi. Yeah.
Cool.
That's very cool.
And then also we have. Oh, sorry. You can go.
No.
You have a lot more?
I have just a couple of things. I have two more big things and then light news after that. So I don't. You go ahead.
Okay, so we have right here a new Netflix is revealing a new Sherlock Holmes. So this is kind of funny. This is played by Henry Lloyd Hughes, and so he stars in the Supernatural series The Irregulars, coming March 26th. But they posted a new photo of him. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's on social media a little bit, but he kind of looks a little weird. It's kind of like more of a scruffy, rugged take on the Sherlock Holmes. So I mean, I love the character. I'm interested to see, but I know we want the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes. You know, right?
Yes. But I will not rest till I get Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes.
All right, and then we have right here Pet Sematary. They're having an origin film, and a new Paranormal Activity movie is in the works exclusively for, guess which platform? Paramount Plus. So just another reason why I kind of want. Nice. I love the Paranormal Activity films. I can get into those.
Really?
Man. Yeah.
Really?
I've always been into them. It's like found footage. I love that. And then and then also this is kind of a big one too. Turns out that the secret project Henry Cavill was teasing on his social media. He was in a chair getting makeup and hair, and he had a script, and it was blurred out, and he had like a mystery caption or whatever. He's working on something secret. People would kind of they kind of encrypted that the blurred text could potentially be something from Mass Effect, the game. So maybe they're doing another live adaptation, and he's a part of it. But that's speculation. It's kind of going around.
Wow.
We don't know yet.
Where did people even get that idea from?
I think they can read. They kind of unblurred the book, and it said a line or two, maybe from Mass Effect, something like that. But I don't know. But still, he's working on something secret, and it's huge. So
that's cool. Yeah, he's probably like, you guys are trying to replace me as Superman. I'm gonna go do Mass Effect.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's 2 games awesome. Now. 2 games.
Right? It's absolutely crazy. Next up, I got Amazon Prime. This one's also a heavy one. Amazon Prime cancels Justice Clarence Thomas documentary during Black History Month. Now, if you know who Justice Clarence Thomas is, he's a Supreme Court judge. He's actually a big deal. It's interesting because he's a conservative judge on the court, even though you're not supposed to have any bias on the Supreme Court. He leans more conservative, and for that reason, his documentary got canceled at Amazon Prime. No. Yes, he has had some controversy over his years, but, you know, it's Black History Month. You know, the whole point of Black History Month is you share Black voices. And for Amazon to cancel the documentary on Black History Month is just kind of like bruh. Like, it's like the facepalm, like everybody, that gif where everybody's just facepalming constantly. And it's just like facepalm. Like, Jeff Bezos, like, who is your creative team over there at Amazon Prime? Because, like, you got to go and just slap somebody around for a second with money and be like, look. Just make the freaking thing, like, what do you got to lose? You know? But that was interesting. And then, you know, this is why I love Netflix personally, right? And let me switch gears. Because over here, Amazon's over here fucking up. But for Netflix is doing good, because guess what? An internal audit says that they haven't done a good enough job of increasing Latino representation in recent years the way it has for Black and Asian folks. That's what Netflix came out and said. And I think that's so amazing, because they're absolutely right. We see a lot of shows talking about other races. Not that race matters, but they have a focus
representation,
on other places. That it's like, it'd be cool to see Latinos be represented more. I know we have a show, you know, On My Block, and then I think they had One Day More or something like that. Okay. But On My Block is great. But I need more that type of show. And like, I don't care so much about representation in the sense of like, everybody needs to have a slice of the cake, and like everybody needs 10 shows exactly, or like in a show that is now out, you need to have every race and every type of sexuality. Like, I don't want all that. Trust me, I don't. But it would be nice to see a little bit more. And I'm thankful that people at Netflix did an internal audit, because it's like some companies don't even care about that. They're just like money. Granted, you do an internal audit when you want to make more money. So Netflix, I see you. I see you, Netflix, playing both sides. I mean, not as bad as Amazon, but I see you.
Wow. Okay. All right, I have some light news here, and of course we can delve deep into it, because we've been getting through this, and this is interesting stuff too. We have Bruce Campbell just wrapped shooting on his, I'm gonna say, cameo in Doctor Strange. Why? because he posted on his social media he was in London and he was like, "Oh, what a beautiful day it is outside." And everyone was like, "Why are you in London? They're shooting Doctor Strange in London. Bruce Campbell has a connection to Sam Raimi." And then he posted just recently. He said, "Just finished shooting a particular film in a particular place for a particular role. Had a great time." And it's like, okay, so it was his cameo probably in Doctor Strange, because he's in all Sam Raimi's films. He was cameoed in all the Spider-Man films. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing him in that. I know London, Doctor Strange. I think he was like, yeah, I was doing that.
Well, so the way you said it, was that a tweet where he was like, I was filming something?
Posted on Instagram. Yeah, it was like
because that matches up with another story that I have here about Doctor Strange that says someone tweeted this out and said, "Notice that Marvel has been filming Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness since December, by the way, and its shooting ends in mid-April, and we still haven't gotten a single set photo or leak." And they said this is one of the most heavily guarded and secretive MCU productions to date. So the fact that he goes, "I was working on so-and-so project as a so-and-so actor," and like just doing these like surface level type things, is just so funny, because I'm like, this movie's about to break the industry, bro. Like, the standard of CGI is about to go up a level.
I know, with all those graphics and stuff. Yeah. Okay. So Bruce Campbell, let's see, where was his recent post? I think I saw it was on Twitter. Yeah, it was on Twitter, I think I saw. Or he just recently posted. I think it was probably on his Twitter. It's going to take me a little bit to find. If you want to get through some of your... Because I want to make sure. So if you want to maybe push through some of your lighter stories that you have.
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter if we go in depth on it. But
I found it. Okay, so it was on Twitter 5 hours ago. It says, "Boy, it was a blast working in a certain city with a certain director on a certain movie with a certain actor. It sure was."
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Come on. That's nice.
That's cool. I'm excited to see his cameo then.
Yeah. And then we also have right here, this is more of like interesting, I say, pop culture news. We have Daft Punk is split up after 28 years. Now, I know we're dabbling into music industry, but I mean, come on. Daft Punk has been a part of pop culture history for a long, long time, before me. And so kind of unfortunate to hear about that.
I mean, it's unfortunate because, like, I don't know if you got a chance to watch their video that they just put out.
Oh yeah, their epilogue
announcing it. Yeah, the little epilogue. It was very much like a long, like you were just sitting there and like watching it go down, because there's so much silence. I was like legitimately like, this is really cool, because it's actually keeping my attention pretty captivating. Like I want to know what's gonna happen. So that's kind of what Daft Punk did. So one more time, shouts out to you guys.
One more time. Okay, yeah. And then we have a new trailer look for Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. That recently came out. The zombie Vegas heist movie. That's hitting Netflix on May 21st. So
I'm going to review that.
That's going to be sick. Zack Snyder's going to have some big heavy hitters. And then we have some production starting on The Boys Season 3. We got a photo of Billy Butcher behind the scenes, as well as Homelander. There was a statue of him, as well as the actor recently came out who plays Homelander with like his boots. So they're starting. They're in the production. I'm excited to see Season 3. Then we also have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will shoot this year, confirms James Gunn. They were asking him on Twitter, "Hey, when are you starting? Is it this year?" And he said yes. So that's that. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I am.
Something else. So
I love James
That's
Gunn.
pretty cool. I have some more here. Do you want to continue on with yours? We just go back.
Yeah, I can do some of mine. So the Batman wraps filming next month, which is so exciting. Batman.
That's
hopefully
huge,
we get a
man.
second trailer within the next 2 months or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
A little more. That movie's gonna be so exciting. Also dropping. Is that dropping this Christmas? Next Christmas? Is that dropping on the same day as Spider-Man 3?
No, I think 2022. Gosh. I think they delayed it for like a long time, man.
Damn, dude, that's gonna be crazy. Yeah, that's a big sad right there.
Yeah.
We had some rumors this week of Jennifer Lawrence being Sue Storm that was shot down by Marvel. Apparently, Fantastic Four is still in its script writing phase, and they haven't even pitched like the final. This is still like we're pitching the stories, we're finding the right characters that are gonna be in the story. Who do we want Fantastic Four villains to be? Like, is it gonna be Doctor Doom? Is it gonna be I don't know any of the other Fantastic Four villains, because I don't just
Silver
I don't keep
Surfer, but he's not. I mean, Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
is just
I guess Galactus, right?
But Galactus, that's kind of that whole story. Who knows?
Right, but anyways, he was shot down. We don't know anything about that movie yet. Next up, I had David Dobrik wants to be a late night TV talk show host, which is interesting. He said he wants to take over for Jimmy Fallon, and I'm interested to see where that goes, because I've also been reading a lot of stuff about David Dobrik recently. He was in hot water because his vlog squad, which there's a bunch of like dirt that came out about how they were treating people, and like the way they would make fun of people, and like there was a guy that came out and felt like he got sexually like kind of assaulted almost because they like
one of the
forced him
members,
to kill to not to kill but to kiss Jason Nash, and I was just like, what the heck? And then they tricked them to do it again a second time, which is like when you hear the whole story, you're just like, this is so weird. But definitely interested to see David Dobrik try new things. I don't think that guy's going anywhere because they're saying that he's not even gonna tackle it head on. He's just gonna ignore it, and then in 3 weeks, people are not even gonna care about it. So keep making TikToks, David, because I guess nobody's gonna care. But I just wanted to mention it because I thought it was interesting. Yeah. And that's not even the weirdest news I have. Like the weirdest news, if you really want to talk about weird stuff, TBS released a trailer for a show called Chad.
What the heck?
That they said is cool, hilarious, awesome dude. That's what Chad stands for. And
God.
It stars Nasim Pedrad, and it's coming on April 6th. And she's a 39-year-old woman playing a high schooler. And I just think that is so fascinating. Like
what is
she was on SNL. She was big on SNL, and she did a couple of other projects. She was a New Girl. She did that show Mulaney. I personally I think she's really funny, and I don't know how this show's gonna be, but I think the idea of her playing like a high schooler is just so weird. Like I'm just like, stop making these 39-year-old people high schoolers.
Wow.
Like make a freaking 25, not even 25. Make them like a 20-year-old who's a high schooler.
Like Tom Holland was in the first in Civil War. He was like 20 or not 21 when he did.
Yeah, like I don't get it, but power to whoever is just signing off on these greenlit shows, because that's gives me hope for stuff that I want to pitch. Then I'm just like, maybe they'll make it.
Yeah. I love that.
Finally, I have here The Bad Batch will premiere on Disney Plus on May the 4th, which is cool. I'm really excited for that show, speaking of Clone Wars earlier. And Rick and Morty writers have started writing season 7 without even airing season 5 yet. They're already working 3 seasons ahead without even showing us a little snippet of season 5, which is really sad. Finally here, I have 2 more. Cobra Kai season 4 is coming with the first episode called Let's Begin. That's right. They're beginning a new journey. What's going to happen? And finally, I keep saying finally because I'm wrapping up. I promise I am. AT&T's Investor Day is coming March 12th, so that's in 2 weeks. We're going to be getting a lot of HBO Max news. Ooh. And we're going to be covering it right here. And that's it for me as far as the news goes. Ryder closes off, then we'll go off to our recommendations.
All right. Well, I have. Oh, and actually, I'm gonna say. Okay, we have a first trailer for Pixar's Luca that has us dreaming of summer that recently came out. Fandom tweeted that out. Ooh. I think I just quoted them. That's there. They quoted that out. Anyways, Pixar's Luca, a brand new Pixar film. There's a trailer. It looks awesome. Go check that out. And then we also have A Proud Family is getting a revival. So they recently came out with photos showing the cartoon versions of themselves from the old show of them grown up, and they show comparisons of all of them. So those photos are out there on the internet. Yeah, it looks pretty sick. And that's it for me. Yeah, that's all I got. So we can get into recommendations.
This week.
Good. What do you got for me, man?
Ooh, this week. If you have HBO Max, check out Whose Line Is It Anyways? I've been binging it. I have enjoyed it a lot too. Some of the guys are so funny. It makes me absolutely crazy to think that this is all just made up on the spot. Like,
I know.
The more I watch it, the more in-depth analysis I keep like coming up with. And
masters of improv. I see some clips of it. I see some clips online of some of the jokes. Man, hilarious stuff they got, man. Insane.
Yeah, Wayne Brady is a legend in my eyes, dude. Like, if I ever meet him, I'm gonna be like, dude, you're like an absolute legend. Like, you can make up a whole song, you can make up a whole scene, you can make up a character, which I can do some of those things. I can't bust out into like, but he's really, really good. He's
talented.
Like top tier singing. Like, he's busting out a 70s genre, and then he's doing like a rap, and then he's doing like a rock and roll. It's just like, dude, in the span of like 3 minutes, it's kind of nuts,
It's crazy for sure,
and it's good, and it's good. It's funny. It's such a great show. So I definitely recommend it. If you haven't ever seen Whose Line, definitely check it out. Whose Line Is It Anyways? It's Ryder's Line.
Okay, well, for me, my recommendation is The Crown on Netflix. I've just, it's one of the big. They've won a lot of Emmy awards, right? The performances, the show in general, and I think it's good to kind of get familiar with the royal family and the history of Princess Diana and the Queen, and all the princes and Prince, apostrophe S is princess. You know what I mean? But good history, great show.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, nah, fuck them. Got him.
What?
I don't care if for the royal family. I don't care
I
for
thought you meant the show. I was like, what?
No, the show's probably great, but
Yeah,
you're over here like it's good to know the history and the lessons.
Well,
I
don't
care.
I mean,
I could care less what
history.
Britain does. This is
Yeah.
America. No,
I know. Yeah, you're right.
Imagine if everybody talked that way. But no, that's great. I'm gonna definitely check out The Crown at some point. But thank you guys so much. This has been it. It's over. You guys have probably sat here listening to so much. It's a brain overload. But guess what? We had a blast doing it. I absolutely enjoyed it. Ryder, you, my friend, have a gift of finding great stories.
Oh,
so thank you
man.
for sharing those with me today.
Absolutely.
Because I very much enjoyed them. Guys, we'll see you guys next week. This has been a blast. Bye now.
Have a good one. Bye, everybody.